What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. How are you all this week? This week has been, um, I think, a fairly powerful week in the collective, to be honest. There's some very deep ancestral magic that's been happening here at the studio. And I felt like today was a really good day to record the podcast and put it out because I don't know, I'm just feeling it right now. So if you're here, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, as always. For anyone who's out there that is always tuning in every week and every time they see a new show drop, they click on it, even though I give my messages in divine timing, I'll say. I thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. Um, Comments mean the world to me. So if you have found anything helpful in the show, go ahead and just send a comment. You may notice if you are watching the recording that there's a lot of smoke blowing around. This is just some incense that I'm using to like clear the space. Got some frankincense going as I tap in. So I've been wanting to talk about a couple of things that I find important, and that is, firstly, what is holistic healing? You hear a lot about it right now, especially in the love and light spiritual communities. If you're part of the love and light spiritual community, um, welcome. And also, there's a lot of things I have to say about that. So just kind of buckle in if you're ready. You ready? If you're here, I'm assuming you're ready because you would not be here if you are not, okay? But something that's kind of been coming up pretty regularly in my practice, I have a studio here where I practice healing arts work. Something that I've been noticing that's coming up is this idea of holistic healing and this idea of how to find a healer. And this is not to brag on myself, but there have been a lot of people showing up at my studio lately and saying, like, oh, you're like a real authentic person here doing this work. Like, it's hard to find authentic people. And that made me feel some type of way because I know that there are so many beautiful healers, shadow workers, light workers, and therapists, also in the healing community, who are really amazing at what they do. And so when I hear that people aren't finding those people, that makes me a little sad. So, one, I'm going to talk about holistic healing, what it is, what it includes. And I'm going to talk about things to look for no matter what type of healing you are looking for, whether you are going to a medical doctor or a literal shaman. These are things that you should be looking out for, period. Just off top, period. Okay. So, first things first, holistic healing. This term has been thrown around a lot, and very few people fully comprehend and work towards healing themselves in a holistic fashion. I've noticed there's this kind of ad hoc. I'm going to add this in, I'm going to add that in, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But people kind of seem to be going after the brightest thing that's in Mind Body Green or something like that, some spiritual woo woo publication, the latest trend in healing. And that is not really helpful, right? That's not what we're looking for. I saw like a little TikTok where they were like, mirror work is not shadow work, and candle magic is not shadow work, and all these things. They're like, this is not actually shadow work. It's kind of the same with holistic healing. Like, just because you set some intentions and set some affirmations doesn't mean you're doing the energy, the work, the healing work on your part. So you say, Tony, what do I do then? I thought that this was how I healed. I thought that this is what I needed to do to heal, was to do candle magic. Isn't that the point? Well, first and foremost, there are a lot of people trying to sell a lot of things. Some of the things will work for you, some of the things will not work for you at all. And a part of your discerning and learning process as someone who is taking a healing journey and you want to break ancestral trauma, you want to break these um, ingrown patterns that you no longer want to continue to take forward in your life and in your lineage. If this is something you want, you're really going to have to learn to discern people who are aligned with that path for you and people who are actively trying to keep you in the same place that you're in now. Because anytime you try to work on healing, there is, crabs in the bucket, as they say. There's always going to be some crabs grabbing on your leg trying to keep you there, okay? Because it's easier when you think about energy, you think about things being very stable and calm, that it takes a lot to change. So let me just start with, first and foremost, the three types of healing arts that exist. Everything will fall into these three categories. I can't hold up a three for some reason. The three types of healing categories. So you have mind workers, body workers, and energy workers. And sometimes these people overlap and do multiple things, right? So if you're talking about a mind worker, what is a mind worker? This is anybody that is helping you break those limiting thoughts and beliefs you have in your mind. These are people that are helping you see things that you tell yourself that are standing in your way. These are people that are helping you with your mental health. Okay. So, mind workers are often labeled in the world as there will be a lot of life coaches that are actually mind workers. There are, of course, therapists, mental health therapists, counselors are mind workers. Um, if you've ever heard of neuro linguistic programming or NLP, these are also mind workers, people that are trying to help you shift your perspective, shift your mind, work on the mind. Um, and even mindfulness practitioners, they're helping you work on your mind, right? Even some meditation practitioners, people who teach meditation, these are all mind tools and mind workers. Okay. So the next we have body workers. Body workers are anyone who works in your physical vessel, anyone that helps to support the healing of your body. Okay. So there are physical therapists, those are body workers. Occupational therapists, yoga teachers, yoga therapists. There are even medicinal doctors, whether they are just medical pharmaceutical doctors or they're naturopathic doctors. They're all kind of working with the body to figure things out, what's going on with the body. That's where they start. There's even somatic practitioners. So you're going to start hearing a lot about somatic experiencing. You're probably going to start hearing a lot about TRE, or known as tension and trauma release. Okay. Oh, any kind of somatic work, body work, all of those are body workers, and they come from like a body up perspective. The body knows and things shift, right? So you have your traditional and your non-traditional, the people that are coming up now, and there's new ways to support the body, and there's the old ways to support the body, right? And thirdly, and not leastly, we have our energy workers. So, energy workers are kind of that ethereal part of ourselves that we don't fully comprehend a lot of times. But energy workers tend to be Reiki therapists, they tend to be shamanic practitioners. Some of them call themselves healers. I am a energy healer. Um, you'll hear people say ancestral healing. Where do your ancestrals live? In the energy realm, right? They're no longer physically embodied, it's an energy now. So, actually, a lot of your psychics, your mediums, and even some of the tarot readers, right? They're tapping into energy, they're energy workers, whether they can read that energy, change that energy, shift that energy, clear the energy, teach you how to clear your own energy, right? So these are the three different ways to access healing. And which one of these is the best? They're saying, oh, there's mind workers, there's body workers, and there's energy workers. Like there's all these things exist. Which one's the best? Well, I'm gonna say the thing that needs to be said, all of them. All of them. You are a three-part being. You exist as a mind, as a body, and as a soul. If you are not working on your mind, your body, and your soul, you're not going to access healing to the deepest level possible. Now, there are therapists who are mind workers and energy workers. There are plenty of therapists who also do Reiki, and you'll feel it. You'll know because you'll go to them and their inner, you just feel good around that person. You're like, oh, like something's different here. Something's happening. They're holding this space for me and it feels different. There are some body workers that are mind workers, right? There's some physical therapists that are not just doing physical therapy on you, but they're teaching you how to think about it, how to think about your body. There's massage therapists, also body workers, who are teaching you how to support your body mentally as well as physically. So recognizing that people overlap, right? So you may be an energy worker and a mind worker. You may be a body worker and an energy healer, right? And some people are all three. Some people are, talented at coaching and pushing people to see perspectives differently while at the same time working with the body, while at the same time clearing energy. There are, we have to be working on all of these things at the same time. And so here is kind of just like a wrap up of that. They are all important. They all have value, and there should be at least one of each of these types of practices in your spiritual practice, right? If you want to kind of have this, this podcast is called Embodied Awakenings, right? Becoming embodied, recognizing who we are, breaking ancestral chains so that we can be who we came to be, not the legacy we came and picked up on, right? So, with that goal in mind, one practice of for your mind, a practice for your body, and a practice for your soul. So, for me, I do a lot of yoga, right? And the yoga is my body practice. I practice Reiki, which is my energy practice. And I practice shifting my mindsets, affirmations, but affirmations geared towards telling me who I am and who I truly want to be. Affirmations that affirm myself in my identity, while at the same time counter any limiting beliefs that I received in childhood. Right. So those are my three things, but your three things could be um, having a therapist or journaling, and also doing Tai Chi, and then also, whether it's Reiki, whether it's dancing. Dancing is a energetic body work. It combines both. Sometimes yoga can be an energetic body work. It can combine energy work and body work. So just keeping that in mind, that sometimes these practices do kind of melt together in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of interplay. I find that a lot of the body work actually is also energy work, because we store energy in our bodies and we move energy through our bodies. Um, and it's often our mind that kind of gets neglected. So, really focusing on how you can do that mind work. Okay. Now, finally, lastly, but not leastly, how do you know that you have found a healer, a therapist, a Reiki practitioner, a shamanic practitioner, a medical doctor that is right for you? Someone good, someone authentic. Well, I'd say first and foremost is when you walk in the room with them, do you automatically feel nervous or anxious or scared? Start asking yourself why. If you feel highly uncomfortable around them, chances are they're not right for you anyway, off top. So, find someone else. But the number one thing, especially for body workers and energy workers, but very, very much so for mind workers too. Just the number one thing. Where do they think their healing comes from? And what I mean by that is, do they believe that they healed you? Or do they recognize that you heal yourself? Because the number one thing is, I'm not healing you. I am simply a guide on your path that shows you the way towards your healing. You take the steps, you do the work, you heal you. You heal yourself by the recognition that you are already healed to begin with, and maybe you just forgot what that meant, and you forgot what that looked like, and you forgot what that felt like. You got me? So the number one is, do they recognize that you have the power to heal yourself, and you're just helping out, and they're just helping you out? Because it takes a lot of setting your ego aside to recognize that we're all just walking each other home at the end of the day. We're all just showing each other the way home. But I didn't build your home. You built that for you. I didn't heal you. You healed yourself. You remembered. As they say, you remembered who the fuck you were. Okay? You were who you are and who you've always been. Well, peeps, that is our show. Down in the description box, the that descriptor box down below, you can click the link and find ways to connect with me, to work with me, and to support me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you again next week.